Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engine!
And welcome back to another episode of the Green White Checker Podcast. I'm Andrew, joined with Zach, Austin, and Joe. We got a lot to talk about this week. There's been a lot in the news, a lot on track, a lot with the playoffs. And I think the first thing that we just got to get out of the way, it's a continuance from last week. And I think Zach has spent a lot of time looking this up and doing the statistics and all that. And apparently Joe sucks. So
still,
are we sure about that?
Crunching the numbers, carrying the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Still,
I'm gonna have to have my legal team repeat that.
I plug it into the computer. You in the same court, thing comes asshole. out every time.
It's a little rough looking for lawyers right now. We might be able to find one and prove that Joe, in fact, does still suck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but
Computer simulations prove it's the case. I'm sorry.
Yep. He did the math in the computer simulations.
The iRacing simulations prove it too. So.
Yeah.
Got him. Oh.
So NASCAR.
Yeah, Talladega. All three series, stuff happened. Obviously, there are playoffs, and I just want to put this out there too. When I was trying to find the truck playoff points, non-existent. It's not on the NASCAR website. I couldn't find it anywhere else. Like, I can find the points. I can't find the cut line and how far up, down. I had to go to Twitter and I found it on, or X or whatever you want to call it. Found it on some Spanish site.
There you
Had
go.
it. So, way to support your series there, NASCAR. Keep up the good work. But we'll get into the cup race at Talladega. Interesting racing. I think if you're not, not an old fan, and you turned this on, you were very excited. Thought it was a great race. Zach, I can probably tell he didn't enjoy it as much because it was a fuel mileage race again. But we had some 4-wide racing, and it was like 4 wide for 5 rows. And I mean, it looked entertaining. I thought it was cool. Zach.
That's the thing. Oh, sorry. I can
No. Go ahead.
I just think, I saw a tweet and it pretty much summed up my thought process. I know it's got a little bit reductionist, but people are like, y'all are complaining so much. Let's go back to this. And there's 4 pictures of the single file train right in the top. My thought is they're kind of doing the same thing where they are not really pushing. They're just riding, but also riding 4 wide, a little bit more fun to watch, a little bit more exciting than the single file train. So I'm not upset about it, but I'm sure Zach's upset about it because Zach loves to be upset about NASCAR.
I love being mad. I mean, really, the part that I don't like, or that's really the fuel mileage saving is one thing, but the issue is that the reason why we have to do all the fuel saving and all that is because when it comes down to it and it's time to actually go, you can't pass in the car.
Right.
You don't have the multiple lanes. They can't work. It's all 2x2. So while the 4 wide stuff, that looks cool and all that. And even we're saying, oh, they're just saving. Well, they're still running 180 miles an hour. So, I mean, it's still, very skillful and cool to see and all that. Even running 4x4, or was it 4 wide? What is it? 7, 8 rows deep, whatever they were. You're gridlocked. You can't go anywhere then. So it's just, I don't know. It's just a cool demonstration, if anything else. It's not really great racing. It's just a demonstration of talent, I guess. You're not
better.
seeing people.
I think
It's better. It's better than a single car train, I guess. I'll give you that. But I mean, the one thing you could do in the single car trains, you would occasionally see a guy, and I'm not defending the single line train.
Are you talking about the guys who would shoot down the bottom of the track and then maybe get lucky with a hole up top?
That did happen.
Position.
That did happen. It did happen. Denny Hamlin was pretty good at it. I think there's somebody else who could do it too. I can't remember who it was, but I remember
Eric Jones was really good at it.
He would try to, and then he'd fall back.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care that much because
all that to gain one position. Though. I don't think that's that much more exciting than.
I mean, I just don't really care. Like, super speedway racing has never been like
Nice.
a love for me. Like, it's just, it sort of is what it is. It exists because of the chaos and people love the big wrecks and all that stuff. So
There it
we
is.
certainly got that. So
Negative Nancy Zach.
I'm not negative Nancy. I'm just saying,
hating on the popular thing. Super Speedway racing.
I love super speedway.
He hates
racing.
Bristol
I'm just
too
saying-
and Darlington.
whoa, no,
He loves Richmond.
I do love
Those
Bristol.
are his
What are you talking
favorite
about?
tracks.
I love the short track racing. I will get excited about that not meeting my expectations. I'm just saying I could take or leave the super speedway stuff. It's sort of whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's a super great deal, but it's not the best package I think we've seen at super speedways.
I'll give you a good
Yeah,
package on Super Speedways.
Oh,
I was setting you up
I
for
mean,
that.
Zach's talking about running trains, and he's talking about packages. It's just one of
Ew.
those shows, boys.
It's getting wild out here.
Yeah, the package could improve. I know. I think it was Dale Jr. is saying like give him 300 horsepower, and then the drafted mean a lot more. And it's just like I don't know. I put the roof spoiler on. I've been saying it for years, but
Yeah, I don't know what the
roof
answer.
spoiler, not the Mohawk.
Yeah, I could take guesses for what would be a better short track setup, but for super speedway, I got no fucking idea.
And I think
work better.
Piggybacking off, I mean, Zach mentioned it's hard to pass, and you saw it with Kyle on the green white checkered, where not sponsored by us, but it could be. He tried to pull out. I mean, no one going with him ultimately killed that, but like usually they can at least get a little bit of a run. But Kyle popped out, and then immediately he was in the back of the field. It's
Well,
like
nobody went with them because they know it wouldn't work.
right, and that's
Like,
that's why.
God bless
that's why-
Lee Diffie. Every time somebody in the back would try to go 3 wide, boy, was he trying like hell to sell.
yeah.
They're starting to form a third lane. It's like
He
it's
was.
not going to work.
But
Yeah.
that's the frustrating part with this car is you're stuck in 2, 4, 3 wide, whatever it is, and even if you can't like cut through the field, and we've talked about this every super speedway race this year. Like in the old days, hey, if you're back in the middle of the pack and you want to go to the front, you can do that, and it'll take a while, but like you can do that. You can cut your way through, make your passes. But with this, the green white checkered, they were pretty. It was pretty much like the way they started, that was the way they finished it, except for Kyle dropping back. It was like, that's not fun. I hate that.
I mean, super speedways, it takes so long to get up to speed too. Like that first lap is just throw that out. Doesn't mean anything.
Green white checkers at super speedways do kind of suck because of that. I think I always sort of didn't get that excited about them just because, like what you said, it takes a freaking lap and a half just to get going.
Well, the only excitement is that that people are going to try to make moves, and that's when that wreck's going to happen, right? You see it on iRacing too. Like you can just have a nice 2 wide race the whole race, but it comes down to those last 3 laps. Guess what? That's when that accident's going to happen.
Or the last 75 laps, and it doesn't matter. iRacing, we're wrecking all the time.
Lap 1 going into turn 1, they're wrecking.
Never mind.
Joe, you just wrecked first lap, and it doesn't matter.
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
No,
He doesn't
right,
qualify.
he
He
rides
rides
back
30
until-
seconds back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Zach gives me shit for it. It's like I avoided a wreck, damn it.
I gave Joe shit too. Little context here. Andrew was racing some iRacing. I was spectating him in iRacing, and he was like 30 seconds back. So I just called him
7.5
Whatever.
seconds.
He couldn't. The field wasn't
thing.
rendered, so it might as well be 30 seconds. And I just called him a pussy for riding in the back. And then Joe laughed at he did a laugh react to my comment, and I told Joe, "You're not allowed to laugh at this." Because he's the worst offender of us all.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't want to be back there. I just avoided a wreck and lost draft. But all right, let's get back into the race. It started off interesting with Daniel Suarez getting a penalty. Has to, do a drive through, comes back out, it's about to go a lap down. Well, is a lap down, and decides he's just gonna turn in front of BJ McLeod to try to block him and stay in the draft. Causes himself the wreck. I mean, what are you doing, man? First of all, your spotter's got to be telling you there's a car coming. I'm sure he knew it, but that close rate, BJ couldn't do anything. I don't understand. You're a championship 12 driver, and you're going to pull that shit. You're going to get the draft. Just stay there. And not only was it like he was on the low side or the high side, he's dead middle.
Yeah.
Just
he's not the first one to do that move. I think the first one that I recall doing that was Ross. And I think that was Ross's win at Talladega. He did that to keep from going a lap down, where you just park it in the middle and make everybody split you, and then guys eventually pick you up. And then people have done it since then. Like I think Joey's done it. I think Denny's done it. It just seems like it's kind of become the normal thing. But now I think the field is getting more ballsy about, no, I'm not going to just pick you up and sacrifice my speed. Because, like, I mean, that's basically what happened. He parked it in the middle, and then everybody in the middle just said, to hell with this, and went around him. So I think he was panicking, and he just jumped in front of BJ to try to get in line. But I think everybody's just tired of having a lap car check up the entire field. If they can just bail on them, they will.
So that's why I don't just go to the low line, because they'll go around you, but you'll get the draft still.
Yeah, you got to make them go out and around.
That's what Todd did for that wreck. He just got out of the way.
Yeah. And so Suarez ended up finishing, or was he out after that wreck? He went 2 laps down. That's right.
Yeah, he
Went
was
2 laps down because of that. Yeah.
Yep. So he ends up kind of rebounding. He finished 26th,
But I don't think he got in the lead lap until the end of stage 2.
Correct.
So
I think it was after
he
that.
rebounded,
Wasn't it?
but yeah, it probably was. Like he rebounded,
Yeah.
but he completely missed out on stage points.
Any
and all
stage
that.
points. Yep.
Yeah,
So
finished
really screwed himself
26th.
there.
Yeah, so
Not a good day.
Well, that's the other thing
-20.
is, if you don't make that move, you stay 1 lap down. You'd be the only car 1 lap down, and guess what? Now you're back in the lead lap after the stage at the latest, right? I don't get it. Just bonehead move. And I could make a joke about the 4 name guys on iRacing running super speedways. That's what it looked like to me. Just
I'm guessing it was a
smart move.
panic move. I'm thinking he probably was worried because he wasn't getting picked up by anybody, and they were still just cruising right on by him. So I'm guessing he thought, even if I would fall it back, maybe I'll still lose the draft again, and then be in the same position. So I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to. I know this. I heard the spotter audio. Spotter did not clear him up, so that was a decision by Daniel
Suarez.
himself.
Yep.
Yeah. So it might have just been like oh shit, I got to get in now kind of thing.
Well, stage 1, we saw kind of what we'd figure. A lot of the drivers going for stage points. So Ryan Blaney takes the win with who was it? Cindric second, Briscoe third.
The end of that stage was really good.
It
That was really exciting.
I was kind of thinking they were going to wreck. They were racing hard.
I know. I felt like they outdid.
Yeah, so
Stage
Blaney,
2 they wrecked, didn't they?
Yes.
They did.
So, like I said, Blaney just got 10 points for winning it. Come to stage 2.
Old Bowman the showman.
Yep. He still gets 8 points for the stage, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
But he gets none for the race. He finished 39th. Hard hit. It was him
He didn't
and
get 8 points for the stage. He finished 8th in the stage. He didn't get 8 points for the stage.
Oh.
If you're looking at my chart, that's
I was
I'm
gonna say,
looking. I thought that was points.
No, that's finished.
That's
position.
my bad. Okay.
I was gonna say, I thought he was farther back than.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think he won it, but okay.
No,
I thought it was
that's
stage
finished
points.
position.
I
not
saw. Speaking of, like,
Sorry
I
if that's
I
confusing.
forget who tweeted it, but like, it feels like each of the last few big track races as lead. I love that Lee Diffie called it the big track every time. That was maybe just me, but I thought that was funny. But Blaney always wrecks. When he wrecks at super speedways, he wrecks like that, where
Hard.
he gets turned into the wall head on.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does he not have like? I'm glad he doesn't have a concussion, but like, how? Like,
Oh, I'm sure he does.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know,
He's got the Josh Allen
got the NFL
doctors
concussion,
there testing him. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
NFL concussion protocol.
That was anyway.
Yeah.
It's that one meme where the guy's like patting people like he's security
Yeah.
in the event.
Yeah.
He doesn't even get close. Just
Yeah.
through. That's them checking Blaney for a concussion.
Yep.
But yeah, another hard hit. Was it Ross that he collected?
Yeah, I got Ross.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the
haven't
other way
heard an
around.
update.
I thought. Oh no, never mind.
It was
Yeah,
Ross. It was
yeah,
Ross.
It was
sorry.
Ross.
Yeah. I
some
haven't
reason-
heard an update on
something.
Ross, but he looked like he was hurting pretty bad.
He
after
looked. Yeah, he was not. It
took a while to get out of the car,
Mhm.
and then they were kind of like carrying him almost.
Yeah, the car that was
Yeah.
like on fire. He was like,
Yeah, car was on
Yeah.
fire. And I'll
Very
see if
slow
I can
getting
find
out.
an update on that while we're chatting.
Yeah, please
Yep.
do, because that was a little scary for a minute there.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
You want to know just the difference of a race car driver versus a normal person. It's just watch them just so nonchalantly get out of a car that's engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
Daniel Suarez at Daytona. Remember that car was just flaming like crazy. He just pulled into pit road, getting out.
Yeah.
Not a panic in the world.
Crazy. Not a care.
But like I said, we did see a lot of the drivers that really needed to win this race and get a lot of points, do really well. Austin Cindric wins stage 2. I think one of us had him for the win, right?
I did.
You did?
Because it was looking good there for a while, and then good old Penske pushing.
Yep.
Not that it was necessarily Brad's fault, as many people love to point out on our repost TikTok that y'all know anything about draft. You guys Brad's fault. I'm like, you fail to realize that we are extremely biased and we hate Brad.
We are fans. We are
therefore.
There's an opportunity to take a shot. We're gonna.
If I had it set up for Joey Logano, the Joey Logano one would have been posted. I mean, it's just we hate them both.
Yeah, could have honestly blame Austin for that. Austin didn't take the push well. That's
Austin Hill.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Austin Hill. Yeah, Austin Hill.
He wasn't in the race. Fuck that guy though.
Yeah.
Gosh, man.
Just sitting in the trailer all of a sudden.
Horrible.
Fuck you, Austin.
Yeah.
So what we're referring to is last stage of the race. We had it's a 27 car pileup. They did correct it, not 28. Starts with a bad push, but it was a pusher pushing the pusher. Yeah, a lot of big names taken out. A lot of controversy surrounding this wreck. No flips.
There was a close one with Cindric. It looked like he was going to go over.
Oh, when that wheel broke?
Or whenever he got hit and his back bumped up. And I feel like generally that's whenever we would see that happen.
Yeah.
But because he's getting air, so the air's getting under there. And he was going slow enough, but also I think the changes to the arrow, the anti-flip arrow definitely made an impact there, which was good to see. But yeah, I thought for sure we were going to see a flip with that one.
Yeah. So after the big wreck, I almost said flip. It wasn't a flip. After the big wreck, we get a red flag because we run out of laps. There's so many cars to clean up. Josh Berry was involved. He came out of the care center and said they better not effing tow those cars back to pit road and let them continue. Well, joke's on you, Josh Berry. You're not a Hendrick Motorsports driver. So we saw 3 cars after, I guess, the red flag was lifted, get towed back to pit road. But what we didn't see was also Bowman, and there was one other guy that got towed back before the red flag was lifted to pit road.
Mm-hmm.
They're all allowed to work or fix their car, unlike Josh Berry, who gets towed to the campsite last week.
Yep.
But red flag, you can't work on your car, right? So NASCAR decides they're going to lift the red flag and then just sit there on the back stretch. Pace car doesn't move, cars don't roll, but the cars on pit road can now work on their cars. Is this fair?
No, it's bullshit.
No, they botched that whole thing. It was terrible.
So I heard a little over a minute for this. So this is an extra minute for these guys to work before even going a lap down, which Alex Bowman, championship contender, stays on the lead lap with all his damage.
Mm-hmm.
Very unfair in my mind. It seems like there's some bias going on in my mind because thing that we didn't see last week is obviously Josh Berry just had 4 flat tires, no actual damage. All his tie rods, control arms, all those good flat tires. That's it. Clearly in this wreck, you can see that Briscoe's got a control arm broke. It looks like Elliott, I think, had a tie rod, is what it looked like to me.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, these cars had major damage. But we were just told after the race last week that if the car has major damage, they won't tow it back to pit road.
Yep.
Josh Berry didn't have major damage, and he didn't get towed back to pit road.
Yep. I mean, the thing with the Berry thing is, like, they were at least following the rule book. Like, it's annoying, and the rules should change, but you can't change it in the middle of the season. And you can't change how you perceive the rule in the middle of the season, especially in the playoffs. Like, they created a situation where, if you had a full season-long championship, this stuff isn't good. It's still bad, and they still can't just be doing this. But it's not as like impactful as it is now. Like you have created these small segments, these small little mini seasons. That's what each one of these rounds are, is a 3-race mini season where every single point matters. So like to just fuck around and change stuff and change how you perceive a race from one to the next and how you perceive certain incidents and all that. Like you can't be doing that. You know, like a 2 or 3 point swing could be make or break somebody's season. So it's just horseshit. It's unacceptable. And I wish NASCAR would just come out and say, yeah, we fucked up. We need to do better. But you get this like long-winded explanation from Elton Sawyer, how we're doing a great job and blah, 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 blah. Like it's so much more de-escalating to just take accountability and acknowledge that it's not right. We need to fix it. We need to do better. Instead of just like, I don't know, having this long-winded bullshit that you're spewing.
Yeah. Yeah, so the 3 cars that got towed was Briscoe, Elliott, and Burton, I believe. 2 of them are championship contenders. This is helping, or is Briscoe? Yeah, Briscoe's still
Yeah,
in.
Briscoe's still on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just feel like you can't do this, and it just seems like there is bias in my mind that you're doing these 2 things that just don't seem right, especially after last week. But you have 2 Hendrick drivers benefiting,
Right.
benefiting from it. Can't talk.
It's getting hard to beat the allegations.
Yeah, I
In
don't.
the 5th.
Yeah, Joe made the call.
He did. He called.
I don't.
Rick
I
himself.
know 0 people in Hendrick.
Called Mr. NASCAR.
Yeah, called Mr. France.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
It's just unacceptable. It has to be better. You
It
can't
is.
be
It
doing
is.
I
mean, I think-
100% agree.
I think the whole policy is stupid anyway. Like, I mean, the whole Josh Berry thing was dumb. Them making the decision and the officials making the decision that your car is too damaged is stupid. Like, they should just, numerous people said it last week. They should just tow the car back to the pit box, have the crew make the decision. If they can work on it, they can work on it. If they can't, they can't. And then that's it. But you can't change that now. Like, that has to be a 2025 thing. Like, while it's annoying, they did follow the rule with Josh Berry, so they should have followed the rule this week.
Right.
Which you did. And this week, you would have had the best case to do it because everybody was actually genuinely fucked.
Yeah. I mean, Briscoe had major damage. Elliott had major damage.
Right.
That's what the rule says is major damage. And I don't think Josh Berry had major damage. He had flat tires.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they were following the rule last week, and they definitely didn't follow it this week.
It's so funny. I watched there's a clip Joey Logano is like arguing with the officials again. It's just the funniest thing, like, hook up the fucking car. Like, tell them to hook the air jack. But like in the background, you just hear all these guys like revving the shit out of their cars, trying to get going because they don't want to get stuck and get towed. So it's like you have all this work going on, you have all these cars going on, and just like people doing burnouts and just trying to get going. Like, it's just the most chaotic thing ever. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I think they should switch out the tires next year. That's what I think. I think we need to go with something we can put an inner liner in it. There's no reason to run 20s. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Problem is, you're locked in now. You're
not. You're not. You can change
the rim. You got to change the brakes. The brakes are too big.
Good. They can do that in the off season.
Well, who's paying for that?
NASCAR.
Good luck. They got a lawsuit coming up.
The teams will. Like, literally, the teams will. Tell the teams, hey, this is what we're doing. Guess what? They got to pay for it. They signed the contract.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck selling it. It seems like NASCAR is not changing the car. Like, that's like they've tried. Like, they're not doing anything significant. They've done like aero changes and shit to the car. Yeah. But it seems like anything that would actually
it's the fans'
help.
fault. That's why the car is so bad. It's the fans.
That's how it is.
Specifically, Joe.
Yep.
Your fault.
It's always my fault. Yep.
Has nothing to do with they made a sports car for our stock car series, but you know.
Yeah. So we get into that green, white, checkered. Go back to racing, as we said, kind of just meh racing. Saw Kyle Busch basically lose all his spots. And Ricky Stenhouse wins the race.
Which he should have been parked because he had missing door foam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should have been brought down pit road.
Well, park to fix it, and if you can't fix it, then you're done.
Yes.
But yeah, he should not have been in that position. Like, that's another miss. Like, how do we have so many fucking misses? It's just absurd.
Well, you know
I
what
need
else?
to be the guy to make that call on Stenhouse, though, because I don't know. Like, it's not like his door was ripped all the way off and no foam.
You're missing door foam. It's the rule. Like, if it's the rule, it's the rule. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, you were in the accident, your car's damaged. Like, it's no different than if you, I don't know, had a toe link and you had to fix that. You have a safety device that is compromised. So you need to fix it. It is the rule. Like, that's the problem. You can't just like say, I don't want to follow the rule this time. It's just is.
Well, clearly you can't, because
apparently you can.
Yeah.
NASCAR, hey, they are consistent at being inconsistent.
Yeah,
I mean,
Not surprised at all.
Look at Ryan Blaney All-Star win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was all kinds of bad.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR just like, we see nothing, because they knew how fucked they would have been if they, because that whole thing was their fault to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the picture of a Stenhouse car, it's like a close look. You'd be like, it's just a donut on the side of the door. But there is a small chunk missing that has no door foam. It's only like this big, though. I don't know.
Only this big.
Ticky-tacky.
It's only the size of a wheel.
Ticky-tacky.
It's not ticky-tacky. That's the fucking rule.
Yeah. I think it's meant for like if the door is actually ripped off, but I don't know. It is technically a rule. You were
From
right.
what I was hearing, it did not specify door ripped off. It just said any door foam missing, implying even just that much, which, yes, that would be ticky-tacky, but I mean, it was a solid chunk.
Sure. All right.
Sure.
He says sure.
Finishing, I think, third, Brad Keselowski. I think Byron got him right at the end. I could be wrong. No, he didn't. All right. Brad finishes second. Could have won the race, except Kyle Larson is instructed over the radio to not push Brad Keselowski to the win. Is this against the rules? I feel like this is against the rules. Because this is changing
I was
the
just
outcome of
saying
the race, right?
You're being ticky-tacky. I was just saying something that's against the fucking rules, and you're like, it's ticky-tacky. You're being ticky-tacky. He can
This
do whatever
is not
he wants.
ticky-tacky, though.
Maybe he had an itch of the calf, and he lifted his foot off.
Oh, that's what it was.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't prove it, you know?
Oh, except for the SMT data that clearly shows he lifted.
Well, what if his foot got tired?
Internet went out for a second. It just
Oh,
yeah, his spotter couldn't hear him.
Just desync. It's yeah. We'll
they
desync.
don't
Only
have
did
the
that
Tarkov
one.
servers.
His
for
spotter
SMT.
couldn't hear him.
it seems like race manipulation to me. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, certainly. Just to go back to like the Gen 7 and how that races, part of what I blame on why it sucks so bad too is manufacturer alliances. This shit drives me nuts, because if you are I don't know, Ford with 3 Chevys ahead of you, 3 Chevys behind you, guess what you're not going to do? Make a move, because you are fucked. They're just going to let you sit out there. So like, I think that kind of stuff, like, it plays a bigger role than we realize. And I mean, you hear it. This is the second time now. Back in Daytona with Parker Retzlaff, he caught hell for pushing Harrison Burton to the win. And they told him, don't you push that Ford to a win. And then here you go. You got Kyle Larson being told, don't push that Ford to a win. Like, it's just, I hate that shit. I don't know how other people feel about it. I hate it. I want a driver to run his race for him, not maybe some sort of teammate help or whatever.
Your best result.
Right.
Yeah. I think I've been a defender of it in the past, and I think I would still say I am, but to a limit. I think that, like, I think it's kind of cool because old school NASCAR, you got Fords line up, Chevys line up, push each other. I think that's fine. Like, if you try, mid race, like, try to line up with your manufacturer or whatever. And that feels kind of old school to me. I don't like this where you are letting off and essentially hurting your own position because you're not going to let someone at a different OEM win the race. Because, had Kyle pushed him, maybe he would have, where did he end up finishing? Like 4th?
He could have got an extra spot.
Could have gotten an extra shot, could have gotten 3rd. And that feels like race manipulation. That feels extreme on an OEM alliance. NASCAR is never going to penalize it because OEMs run the sport, as we see with the low horsepower still being, blamed on trying to welcome in a new OEM that's clearly
Not here.
been on the way for the past 5 years, or if not more, probably more. So I don't know. That again, like I said, I've always been like, I like OEM alliances, but this soured it for me for sure.
Yeah. I think like within your team, and like you said, OEM alliances, all right, you're right with the Chevys throughout the race, because obviously they do green flag pit stops together and all that.
Right.
That's fine. And like, all right, maybe at the end of the race, if all right, all the Hendrick boys want to be together and whatnot, that's fine. But like I'm kind of summarizing, but I remember Dale saying, I think last year on one of his podcasts, he's like, hey, I just ran with whoever I work best with, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, whatever. And, like I think him and Tony Stewart ran well at plate tracks together, and they were different manufacturers for most of their career. And,
right.
But that's because he trusted Tony Trusted him. Chevy be damned.
I don't know if that's
right?
particularly true, Joe.
Well,
they were Chevy together for a while.
Right.
And then,
or I guess they were different teams. That's where I'm going. But like
teams, but no, you're right. Like, I mean, you would see, I don't know, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick was Chevy too. I don't know. It wasn't as big of a thing. Like, it was just, like I said, they were selfish, or they found.
Back then it was mostly your teammates, and then whoever.
Yeah,
it was teammates or just guys you liked. Like, I mean, like to Joe's point, Tony Stewart and Dale Jr. did work together a lot, but that's because they understood each other, they trusted each other, and they had a good relationship. Like, I think, to me, that's racing. That's what makes good plate racing is having just drivers be selfish or form their own alliances. Hey, maybe this guy cut me a break, here, so I'm gonna kind of work with him and whatever. I don't know. I hate it just being can't let them Fords win.
Yeah.
That makes you look weak to me, right? Like, oh, Chevy only won because they told Kyle Larson to lift. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish they'd just go back to the I'm your friend or teammate until the last lap, and that's everybody for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that should be the mentality. Why do we have guys purposely trying to make other people win or lose when you should be going for the win? It makes no sense.
Right.
Like, Kyle Larson did not make a move on the green-white checkered. He just sat behind Brad while you had 3 Chevys start on the high side, and they're pretty much guaranteeing a Chevy to win. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But, all right. And got some more
it's team
rules.
orders. It's team orders from F1, which I hate in F1.
Yeah.
But anyway.
F1 just sucks.
True.
But, and after post-race, no penalties assessed, we find out that the 6 and the 17, both RFK racing cars, are missing part of their roof rails. The front part that was added last week. I mean, it's obviously no coincidence that, only one team has this problem. But no penalty? NASCAR didn't see this?
No, how did they
see the door phone? What the fuck makes you think you're going to see a roof rail?
Sure.
Yeah.
They are kind of hard to see. They do blend in. Like, I can see them missing the roof rail more than I can see them missing the door foam on the 47.
Right.
Because the roof rail,
black rail on Brad's white roof.
Yeah, but I mean, if it just disappears all of a sudden, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't jump out at you. I don't think.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
How does it come off? But even still, like it's found out now. So how are you not doing something about it now?
Yeah, you can't. I don't know. We just saw Denny Hamlin get a 100-point fine, 10-point playoff. What, $50,000? A DNF or did not finish, all because of the people that make his engine tore it apart without their permission. Like, but yet you have 2 cars go to the track from the same team that have parts that clearly weren't put on right, and I don't know if they meant to fall off or what. I'm sure it makes the car a little bit faster. NASCAR is just like, we didn't see shit.
You also had Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch get DQ'd at Pocono because they had tape on the car.
Tape, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I did see like something from NASCAR. Like I think they said basically they looked into it and the bolts just got loose. Like they were supposedly tight at the start of the race and they got loose and fell off.
What Ford, man, was it last year? Was it Joey Logano or I should say Penske or RFK that had bolts that were purposely left loose or
I
modified?
think it was Harvick.
Was that Harvick? So it was Haas? Yeah, you're probably right because they were running so fucking slow, but yet they broke the rules and it's like you're still slow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, follow the rule book, NASCAR. Hey, make the rule book, let fans see it. I want to know the rules.
Yeah.
Let's stop just making shit up.
No, then you'll call them out a lot and they'll fucking hate that.
Yikes.
We got anything else on the Cup race?
Don't
Not
think so.
really.
No.
Got Xfinity. Sammy Smith gets the win. He went into this race 63 points from the cut line and is now advanced.
Crazy how that works, huh? And he wasn't the original winner either. Because Sam Mayer got DQ'd.
No.
I thought
No,
Sam Mayer won and got DQ'd.
He did get DQ'd,
did.
but he didn't win.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I thought he won. Okay, never mind.
Nope. Did not win. But yeah, Sam Mayer gets disqualified. Too low to the ground, which I don't know if he was involved with any of those wrecks. I figure, there's a lot of wrecks in that race.
I think they're appealing that, aren't they?
Are
They are.
I'm sure
Yeah, they
will.
are.
I mean, all it takes is you going, from the banking to the flat to fuck something up under the car.
Right.
It's Dale Jr. They're gonna let him win that.
Oh yeah.
Let's not pretend anything else is gonna happen.
Justin Allgaier wrecks again. This is 3 weeks in a row. This is your guy that went in top of the championship. Well, had a chance to win season championship, didn't because he wrecked multiple times. Goes in to Kansas, wrecks again, and now we go into Talladega, we wreck again. He's now 18 from the cut line.
Cool.
This
Tough.
is got to be one of the worst, 3-week stretch going into the playoffs and into the playoffs. Ouch. And just to show you how wild Talladega can be, David Starr, Brennan Poole, P8, P9 in this race.
Nice.
David
Yeah.
Starr, baby.
Mm-hmm.
King.
Truck race, not much to talk about. Enfinger wins. Good for him.
The Oldsmobile.
And- Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that?
Uh-huh.
I did. That was funny.
And the entry list for Talladega in the truck race, Grant Enfinger was listed as having an Oldsmobile for his manufacturer. So, yeah, found that odd. He is now advanced in the truck standings. I don't know what the fuck trucks. I think they have 3 more races. So 2 more until the cut race.
Yes, I think so. I think next week because there's only 5 more races left.
Yeah,
So
they have
They don't race
Miami.
all of them though.
This week they're
Miami,
off, and
Martinsville.
then they race the next ones. I think they
Yeah.
raced
Oh, Martinsville,
Vegas,
Miami.
I'm
I
looking
think
at
they do
it's,
all 3, don't they?
it's Miami, then Martinsville, then Phoenix.
Oh, they skip.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know they skip Vegas.
Because they're in their round of 8, and their round of 8 tracks are Dega, Miami, and Martinsville.
I'll never get over how confusing
It's
the different
so
playoffs
confusing.
are.
Why can't we just make them the same?
I don't
Make 'em
know.
the
I
same.
know.
Make every
would-
race of the 10 race playoffs a triple header for all series. Boom, done.
That would be nice, but we can't have everything with
I
NASCAR,
mean,
can't
we
we?
started the truck playoffs the week back from the Olympics. Makes no sense.
It
Well,
doesn't.
and then the trucks are weird too, aren't they? 10.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
So it's
Is it 10 or 12?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, now that I say it,
It's
because I
12
think
is
only
Xfin.
2 got eliminated. Yeah,
So they eliminate 2 and then they eliminate 4. It's just such a fucking mess.
yeah, because Ben Rhodes and Daniel Dye got eliminated, and now we're down to 8. It's weird. Well, and then you got the Xfinity. It's only 12, and then you go to Cup. 16.
I mean, I get Xfinity and I get them not being 16, but I mean, just add 2 to trucks just to make it, all the same, make it consistent.
I don't think Cup should be freaking 16.
Cup should be 12.
Yeah.
They should all be 12.
Yeah. Ryan Reed, who was a I just lost my brain.
Ryan, or he was a
Xfinity
Roush.
driver.
Was it Roush, Xfinity
Yep.
driver?
Yep.
Until they closed the program, and then he disappeared. He had wins. I think he won like Daytona 3 times in a row or some shit. And yeah, just disappeared off the face of the earth, and he pops up in this truck race. So
There you go.
that was a blast from the past.
Don't call it
It's
a
like-
comeback.
What, 2017, 2018? So yeah, I don't know. Just throwing that name out there because I thought that was interesting. All right. Any more from Talladega? Any cool stories, fun facts?
Nope.
Negative.
Okay. No Ross injury update.
I saw Trackhouse posted something an hour ago about him at Charlotte, so I'm assuming he's fine.
Still has both of his legs. Didn't get amputated. or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he seems good to me.
All right, before we move on to the news, make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Follow us, subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And
Watch
then we're
us
live Tuesdays,
9:30
9:30, 9:35,
Eastern.
Eastern, yeah.
YouTube, Facebook.
YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, maybe soon.
Yeah. Ooh, TikTok would be interesting. Maybe even do our Discord, which is new and has a couple people. We had a watch party this weekend for the Cup race, so join that. If you don't have the CW, maybe you'll actually be able to watch races on our Discord. Hint, hint, hint. Yeah.
You can't say that.
I mean, it's a watch party. I mean, we're not giving it.
We're actually
away to
watching it.
people.
We're
we're listening to it on
Co-watching.
MRN.
yes.
Yeah.
It's more of a listening
Their
party.
eyes.
While we reenacted on iRacing in live
Yes,
time.
that's exactly
Yes.
Yes.
it. We simulate the races in iRacing.
Max graphic settings.
Photorealistic graphics.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. If you're on YouTube, look down below. It'll be posted down there. Shit, where else should we post it? I don't even know. I think it's actually in our description on YouTube also. The Green White Checker Podcast. Look us up. All right. Let's hop into news. I think the major one broke Wednesday last week, right after our podcast, obviously.
Yep.
2311 and Front Row Motorsports file an antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR and the France family.
Hit their ass, baby.
So basically, what they're claiming is that NASCAR has a monopoly and stranglehold over stock car racing in the United States, being that they own tracks. They've purchased other series like ARCA, which kind of, I don't know, borderline there. The wheel and modified series is, NASCAR owned. I mean, now you even have IMSA NASCAR owned. So NASCAR is just buying all this stuff up. And then there's a couple other things with the contract that was signed by, 13 of the teams, 14 of the teams.
13.
Back in early September, we find out that NASCAR basically told the teams, you have an hour to sign this contract,
It
or
was 6 hours. People were wrong on the time.
Well,
it was 6 hours. They gave it to
so-
them at 5 and had to be signed by midnight.
it was initially an hour. Then, because of blowback, they did extend it to midnight. Yes.
An
So,
hour.
yeah. Hey, here's this 120-page contract. You have an hour to get it back to us, or all the teams lose their charter.
Yep.
That's
I
crazy.
don't. Yeah, I
insane.
mean, this is illegal. So, this is another thing brought up in the filing, that this is manipulation and abuse of power and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Another thing that is in this is when the team signed it, they signed over their intellectual property to NASCAR. So their name, their face, their brand is now
Hell.
NASCAR's. Now, who in NASCAR, a team owner, would not ever sign anything like this because he has made billions of dollars off this? Michael fucking Jordan
Yeah.
is never going to sign anything that signs over his likeness or his brand or anything.
Isn't
like
that why some of their diecasts don't get made? Because like the Jordan
Correct.
brand?
Yeah. Yep.
Correct.
Don't
So
sign him over to Lionel.
I believe that Denny's got a plan to make their own die cast. I've kind of had this feeling for a while. But yeah, I think NASCAR is just fucking trying to piss off Denny and Jordan with this.
Well,
at this point.
I don't know if you're getting this, but they also included you can't sue NASCAR for being a monopoly.
Any of this.
Yeah.
You
Arbitration
also
agreement.
agree not to sue NASCAR for antitrust laws.
That makes
Why
you seem
are
like a
you
bad
going?
guy.
Yeah. Why are you going to put this in there? Like,
You
everybody
won't ever
sign this
need to-
quickly.
Hey
but
guys, you
don't-
won't ever need to worry
you
about
can't
this.
sue us.
So
Yeah,
you're
can't
just
sue
putting
us
it in there.
though. They're
Hey,
just
take
sneaking
this
that in there.
apple. Take this apple. It's not poison. Trust me, bro.
The more we hear about this deal, the more shockingly bad it is. And the
It's
only reason,
wild.
and the
So
only
bad.
reason I can put together why teams would actually agree to this is I think it's like a 12D chess move. Like I think they're going to use this contract signing as evidence in the lawsuit. I think Denny Hamlin and FRM sort of decided that they would take the helm at actually filing the lawsuit, and they would use the contract negotiation and the signing and all that as evidence and say the team signed this under duress. And I think that could be used to get the contract signed out. And I think once this filing actually goes through and things get rolling, you might see teams start to come out and jump in on the lawsuit with 2311 and FRM. That's my gut feeling, because it's like this contract sounds awful. Why would anybody sign this?
I mean, the only thing I can think is that their lawyers going to get a chance to read through it in a limited amount of time. Because by the time that contract, the DocuSign comes through, you're calling your lawyer. You know, if they're available right then, it's what was it, 6:30, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that lawyers work 9 to 5s. You know, they very much so don't. But still, you know, after working hours, regular working hours, calling them up. Who knows what they're doing? They get their computer maybe within an hour. Then they're down to just a few hours to read this. 120 pages, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, to read all that document, assess everything.
Legals and that go over it. You're not going to get it done in time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, call up your team of paralegals and everyone to read through sections, whatever. Even then, like you know, getting those people on the horn that at that time, you know, that quickly. I think it's just they had to scan. They didn't get as, you know, but also and then the teams panic and they're like, well, we don't have time for lawyers to review it, everything. We just have to sign it. We're going to lose our charter. Maybe it's a panic thing. But also, I can't imagine that as they're reading this through, you know, the owners are getting calls like, hey, this has got some really concerning stuff in here. What do we do? And then the owners aren't calling each other saying, hey, are you signing this? Like, you're like, oh, you're not, like, you know what I mean? Like, some collaboration there. Maybe it's like, hey, we already signed it. Like, we didn't have, you know, we had to. Like, we're not going to risk losing our entire business here. So I don't know. I think some of it might have been fear of actually losing the charter and not wanting to band together, kind of thing. Some of it might have been the timing and not being able to get the lawyers to review everything in time. They, you know, again, like, kind of had to sign it. I don't know what lawyer's going to tell you. Yeah, sign this before we can read through everything. But I think a lot of it's a lot of it was probably the fear of we can't risk losing our charters at this point. Because I mean, how many millions are those now? Like,
I mean, 40 million?
40 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you're going to risk just forfeiting $40 million investment for one charter, let alone the 3-4 car teams. So I think a lot of it was just, all right, like, hands are tied. We have to do this. And then Denny and Jordan have enough other streams of income that they're not that scared
Quite
about
a few.
it. FRM's not necessarily a money-making venture. I mean, they're getting there, but
he owns how many franchises though?
Bob Jenks is rich as fuck.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I personally know that, but you know, like again, like he's not necessarily risking this one. Exactly what I'm saying. He's not risking his entire fortune. Not that Rick necessarily would be either. Not that Penske would be either. But they're not risking. You know, like FRM has a little bit less to lose, I feel, than some of these other guys. Same with 2311, so they kind of have the backing behind them and not the insane amounts of money being made from this to kind of run that risk and take a little bit more of a read through. Let's hold off. Let's actually sue their asses. So that's my thought on it. That's the only thing I can think of why. That's my like initial thought as to why all these teams signed it. But I don't know. I love to see them go as the resident NASCAR shill. I love to see them going after it. 'Cause this whole deal is just so scummy, man.
It's very bad. And the worst part is that not only is it like you fucking your teams that you have already, why would anyone want to come into NASCAR as a new owner?
Yeah.
Like I thought part of this was to show people they could come in and make money. Like I thought part of the whole charter system was to show people you could come in and you could have some value in the sport and you could actually make money. And then you have this disaster of a charter deal go down. It's like, who is coming into this?
Who's making that call? Like, who is saying? I just want to know. I just want to be in those meetings where they're saying this is good for everyone involved. This is going like. There's no way they think this is going to make the teams happy. Otherwise, why do they give them 7 hours to sign the thing? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all to me. I don't get like it to me. It just strikes every chord of being a just horribly run business. Of we're going to do this to make a ton of money. Meanwhile, burning all of our people who are making us the money, piss everyone off, and then completely lose our business because all we're focused on is short-term gain, not long-term investment. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I have a tinfoil hat theory about it, but
I'd love to hear the tinfoil hat.
Let's hear it, baby.
I mean, I just think I think NASCAR ultimately wants to have ownership in all the teams. I think they want to own them. They want to buy out all the teams, maybe still keep the names around, but I think NASCAR sees the teams as competition. They see the teams as historically a necessary annoyance because the teams had to build the cars, they had to employ the people to put them together, they had to do this, they had to do that. They had to do all the legwork to actually get a car on track. Now we have this third-party manufacturer or third-party supplier that supplies all the parts. So all you need now is a group of technicians to assemble the pieces. You have some engineers make some setups. Like you could do all that stuff in-house. That's sort of how Monster Jam works. That's sort of how SRX was trying to work until Paul Tracy wrecked all 14 of their cars. But you could basically do all that stuff in-house and have NASCAR employees building the cars, NASCAR employees, the crew chiefs, the drivers are now NASCAR employees. And we're talking about NASCAR just buying up a bunch of shit. I mean, buying up ARCA, buying up Welland. I mean, they're obviously interested in trying to buy up the market and control everything. And I just don't, this move and these negotiations, you just do not do if you see the teams as an asset. So it's just like in my mind, they see them as like some sort of competition. They see them as, because I mean, what do you always hear? You always hear like this dynamic going back and forth with the teams and NASCAR. The teams think NASCAR should do this and NASCAR wants to do something else. And I mean, they even have the non-disparaging clause in there so teams can't talk shit on NASCAR. So there goes actions detrimental. That's probably why Denny Hamlin was suing. It has nothing to do with anything else. He wants his podcast, goddammit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just like sort of like I think a long game strategy that NASCAR could be playing, because I mean they don't want to make the charters permanent. They want to make them 7 years again. So it's like, why are you doing all these things to piss off the people that help build up your sport? Unless you just don't give a shit about them and you actually maybe want to try to phase them out. Because I mean, we know NASCAR and the the France family have actually had interest in fielding their own cars. That's come out.
That was in the agreement that they could field. Well, they could own charters.
Yeah. So where does this go? I don't know. I mean, it's just a theory. It's just something I've been thinking about. But it's like I can see these sort of connections and read between the line kind of things. Like I just don't get the feeling they want the teams around. I can tell you that.
So, and
I mean, you think you take. Sorry, I just want to complete the thought. You figure you can if you need somebody to build and assemble the cars. Rick Hendrick has been in the sport longer than anybody. He has the organization that could probably do it. You partner with Rick Hendrick, you eliminate the other teams, and now all the cars are built at Hendrick Motorsports. Now that might be a little.
You just stole my take that I posted in Discord. Damn it!
Did I?
Yeah, but no. So in this lawsuit, it basically says that the next gen itself is breaking antitrust laws, which it is, because you are required to run NASCAR parts from a NASCAR vendor. You are not allowed to modify. You're not allowed to use them on anything else other than their car. And you can't.
I didn't realize the teams didn't own the cars either. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
So they do, but they don't. So
they paid for them.
They paid for them, but they cannot run them in anything else.
Well, even like I was reading somewhere, like if a car is say a car gets into a wreck, Talladega, for example. Supposedly, it's NASCAR that makes the call if the car is rebuilt or totaled. So, like, they're making decisions about that kind of. I don't know if it's safety thing or what, but
that's a safety thing. They don't want a car that's got a like busted ass frame or weakened frame going out and then getting involved in a wreck and the frame breaks, and that's bad on NASCAR.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they made that call before. When I read that or where I was seeing that from,
I feel like
it made it sound like that was a new thing.
Yeah, I wish I could remember more of a NASCAR car than it used to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right? They used to build them from scratch. This is actually built by NASCAR for NASCAR type deal.
Right.
But according to what you said, though, with the charters and all that, what I've seen all week is, well, Rick Hendricks signed the contract because he was tired. No, Rick signed it because NASCAR told him to sign it. And if you think that NASCAR hasn't went up to Rick and been like, hey, Rick, what would it take to build all the cars to field in this race? I guarantee you they've done that multiple times. And I guarantee it's been a talk. And Zach is 100% right that they want to phase out the teams. They want to supply the cars. They want to do their own SRX type series. But as Zach also mentioned, is with this contract, they now own the drivers who would then not be allowed to run races in other series per NASCAR.
Sounds like F1 a little bit there.
So
I don't know if that's an F1 rule or if that's a team rule, to be honest.
Probably more of a team rule, but I'm sure the FAA, I don't know.
I mean, those drivers get paid so much money.
Yeah.
So I've seen mixed opinions on this whole thing. Obviously, people just hate Denny Hamlin and they think Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan are just trying to get money from NASCAR. That has nothing to do with this. This is an antitrust monopoly situation here. And I don't know, in my mind, it's a easy win. But I kind of forgot where I was going with this. I'm not going to lie.
I'd love to know where Denny falls under. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say where Denny falls under the non-defamation or whatever, like where they can't talk smack on NASCAR. Because if JGR signed it, does he fall under that? Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing.
Is Action Detrimental still dead because he's a JGR driver?
Interesting thought.
Well, you got to remember the contract is not technically up until after the season. So,
well, and does that apply to the teams themselves or the drivers? Because Denny Hamlin is
NASCAR would own the drivers.
Yeah,
but through this charter deal, does NASCAR own the drivers? Yep. Oh, I don't fucking know.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Yeah, that is interesting. Speaking of podcasts, did you see there's going to be a new one real quick? Kenny Wallace and Ken Schrader, Dirty Mo Media.
Oh, wow.
Sounds kind of lame compared to
other
ones in the market right now, such as, I don't know.
I'd rather watch
I think we haven't brought this up yet, but the lawyer for Denny's side is they're bringing in big
guns. Kessler.
He did NIL. He did NFL free agency, the soccer equal pay thing.
Dang.
And then it turns out the lawyer for NASCAR was the guy on the other side of the soccer equal pay thing. So in NASCAR fashion, they're getting the losing lawyer to go against the guy who beat him. So we'll see how that works. We'll see how that plays out for him.
Yeah.
Dude, I really hope that I don't know if we mentioned, but they're also filing for an injunction to basically let them, allow them to run as a charter team while the court case is going on. So I really hope they get that, and I hope NASCAR is super bullheaded and tries to fight this because I just want to see everything come out. I want to see.
But do you think NASCAR is so protective of their books they won't?
I mean, that's what everybody seems to think, but I don't know. Like, what could be in the books that's so awful that you don't want everybody to see?
It'd just be how much money they're actually raking in.
Like, we all know they're making money.
Oh, they're making
billions. So I mean, they just signed a $7 billion TV deal, so they're obviously making money.
Well, and here's the thing we've gone over it before. So obviously NASCAR's got like a set percentage that they pay out to the teams and all that, but they also pay, it's like 65% of the revenue to the track. So guess who owns a bunch of the tracks? NASCAR. So they're just paying themselves money to make more money. And it's just, I don't know.
There's a really good video
thing
on
is
Twitter
such,
about it. I forget.
Yeah. such
forget
a
who it
just
was
case
by.
closed in my mind. But okay, back what I was saying with the people on both sides of the fence here, and some just hating Denny Hamlin, so they're against it, and some just not understanding what an antitrust lawsuit is. And then I've seen people say this won't help the racing. That is incorrect, because if they pass this and they start paying the teams more money, the teams can now, instead of relying on drivers to pay to race, pay to drive, these teams can now go out and be like, hey, you're a really good driver.
You get
Come
more
race
Josh
for me.
Perry's and fewer Austin Dillons.
Correct. So we're going to see these. I mean, we already see it kind of happening with JRM and Trackhouse kind of going out and get these younger guys that are actually talented, and they're coming in and they're fucking winning these races. But it's still pay to win. Like, look at fucking Colleague, pay to drive. Those cars are awful, but people are paying them money to drive those cars, right? That could go away, and we would have more competition and on the skill level. And I think we'd probably see less of this just shit show truck race, shit show Xfinity race, because these kids that aren't talented, that their only way to win is to wreck or race very aggressively and over their skill set. You're going to bring in better drivers. And that's what this sport needs. Like 100%. Like we always talk about how there's no big names in NASCAR. This is how you get big names in NASCAR. I mean, this is going to help, right? I think the other thing you're going to see, possibly, we might actually, and we've talked about this before, drivers' contracts. We might actually know what people are getting paid. Kyle Larson said that NASCAR drivers are making less now than they did. It's the only sport where that's happened. And he's right. It is. I mean, NFL players every year, that just skyrockets up. You always hear, this guy's the most paid. And then like the next day, oh, no, this guy's the next paid. And then a week later, oh, this guy's, it's just never ending. We can see that with NASCAR, which I would love. Just hearing all the contract negotiations and stuff like that. Oh,
hey, man, I've said that before. I wish NASCAR had like trade windows and like contract negotiations like you have in like soccer and stuff, where it's just like the trade windows is so exciting. So who's going where? Like, what's getting off or whatever. Like, oh, they're in talks with this team. I think that'd be a sick addition to NASCAR.
Right? Yeah. Especially knowing like, oh man, my driver's on a contract year next year and he's not racing well.
Transfer rumors coming up. Take silly season to a whole new level, man.
Like who's on the block to get traded. Like that'd be great.
I would
great
love
for the
that,
sport, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Get Fabrizio, the soccer trade deadline king, but into NASCAR. That'd be nice. We could beat the Fabrizio for NASCAR.
So do you guys think this makes it to court? Do you think it's a negotiation settled?
I think NASCAR's got too big of an ego to settle. I think they're going to take it to court.
I think they're just historically, that's how they've always been. This is our show. This is so I don't see them backing down. I hope they don't. I hope they are bullheaded, and I hope they fight this one out. It'll be fun to watch.
I give them a 15% chance to win NASCAR. So I'm on the Hamlin side here.
It's hard to think how they could win, because I mean I don't know all the legality to it, obviously, or all the details, but just like on the surface anyway, they definitely have a case.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and the other thing, if the teams are making money, guess what NASCAR could bring back? Practice.
I mean, well, and I think the teams get an unfair rep because people are like, oh, well, the teams won NASCAR to cut practice notes. I don't know if necessarily they were asking for NASCAR, we need to save money, do this. I think they're struggling because of the contract that they signed. And this is why Denny's like, I don't want to sign a new one because it's shit. But like they're struggling to keep their head above water. So they're saying, NASCAR, you need to save us money. You need to, or help us make more money, whatever. We need money. And NASCAR's like, okay, well, we can do this and it'll save you money, or we can do that and it'll save you money. So I don't know if it's like necessarily teams going and saying, especially the horsepower thing, even though NASCAR love to say that, NASCAR, our engine bills are too high. We need less horsepower. I don't think they were saying that. I think they're saying we need to cut X amount from our budget,
right?
Or make X amount more. And NASCAR said, okay, we can find those savings for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But as a fan that goes to the track, I would rather have a 3-day race weekend instead of some of these 2-day / like
one and a half day. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
would like to see that.
Absolutely.
It'll bring more fans to track. It'll be better camping, all that stuff. So
Oh yeah.
helps grow the sport, and that's what we need, right? All right. What was I gonna say? Oh, Atlanta, Darlington, Talladega have opened their campgrounds for Hurricane Milton evacuees.
Yeah. If y'all are in
If
Florida,
you're-
be safe.
Yeah.
Hopefully you left. Please don't stay.
Yeah, please.
And,
Shout out
Yeah,
to Greg fucking Biffle, dude.
Yeah,
I know, dude. Biff has been killing it here in North Carolina. Shout out big time.
Yeah, big shout out to the
And
Biff.
I know I'm sure Charlotte Motor Speedway, I know they opened up for Helene, but I would assume they're after the race on Sunday, they'll be open up for Milton as well. So they do that all the time.
Yep. So good for NASCAR for helping out. I know they've brought supplies to two areas that needed it. Yeah, back in July when I was supposed to go down there, that was really close to Greenville, like real close.
Greenville,
Also-
South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They got hit. They got hit pretty hard. I know.
It's
people-
Greenville.
Oh,
Just
my
clarify,
bad.
Midwest.
You guys don't pronounce it right.
Excuse you, out of stater. I want to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Greer, so we're supposed to send parts
yeah.
down there. We're not even sure if the place is still there. Yeah,
It's a good go kart track in Greer.
is there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Forget the name of it, but it's a big indoor, big old track. A lot of fun. Anyway,
it's got a weird name. I remember looking it up.
yeah,
And I was
I
like, I
remember.
just want a T-shirt, if anything.
yeah.
But yeah. If you're in the path of the hurricane, there's some places to go. One of my exes lives in Fort Myers. Hurricane hit her house, please.
Only hers.
No.
Yeah,
Everyone
just
else safe.
Yeah,
That
just
one
that
safe
one
too,
house
but-
dissipate. Yeah. All right, kill count. Suarez gets one. I didn't give 27 to anybody because I hate to say that's a racing incident because it's like 5 people pushing
Yeah.
Brad into the wreck.
So we're giving it to Austin Cindric then.
Okay, Austin Cindric. I mean, the crazy part is that even if it's somebody not on the list, they would be top of the list right now.
I was kind of hoping it would have been someone's fault, like explicitly someone's fault.
Yeah.
Just for that alone.
No, yeah, Bowman's got 19, so he just instantly go to the top, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Which actually wasn't a Bowman. No, Bowman. Oh, wait, Bowman
Bowman did
wrecked,
cause the stage 2 and a
Yep.
stage 2 wreck.
so
which
Bowman
collected-
gets 2 also.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was only about 2, so that's up to 21.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn,
Bowman,
we almost missed one.
Bowman Showman.
number 1 overall.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's go to Survivor, Zach.
We did not do the hot this week, boys, except for Joe.
Yeah, go me.
No, we don't like that.
Back to the first point of the show. Just,
yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
kidding,
thanks-
Joe. You
thanks.
don't suck.
a lot. So Joe had Bubba who finished 9th, and then things go very bad very quickly. Drake finished 2nd with Austin Cindric who finished 32nd.
Woo!
I had Joey who was 33rd, and then the Penske
last.
trio just awful.
Well, and the
Which
worst part is
Blade
like
finished 39.
coming to the end of stage 2, it's like, fuck, man, this is gonna be close between us 3. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
back. Wow.
It was close to us 3.
Ah.
We're not wrong by that statement. End of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah,
Like
so,
Cindric was up there fighting for it. It was just
who you going with?
SVG. Easy
SVG. I will do the same and go similar strategy. Go with AJ Allmendinger.
Can't pick the same driver.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm going SVG also.
Well,
I'm
similar,
also going
strategy.
SVG.
Part-time road course ringer guy who's racing this weekend.
True. I'm
Okay.
for mine. I'm going to be going SVG. Now I'm going old Danny Suarez. Won on a road course before. Gonna need to do really well this weekend. So I think he's gonna be shooting for that win.
We did not talk about the playoffs much.
Playoff.
We should look at that then.
Yeah,
we'll
current
do
people
that.
below the line here. I'm going to read those off.
Well, let's let Joe pick and then we'll
Joseph,
go
who you picking?
Yeah, Joe, you pick.
All right, my pick. Let's go with Bell.
All right.
Christopher Bell.
I like it. So current playoff standings, William Byron advanced with the win. Bell's plus 57, Larson 52, Denny 30, Bowman 26, Blaney 25, Reddick 14, and Chase 13. Those are all to the good. Below the cut line, we got Joey at minus 13, Suarez at minus 20, Cindric at minus 29, and Chase Briscoe at minus 32. I don't know if it's quite technically must win for anyone, but it's pretty close to must win. I mean, theoretically, if Briscoe, say Briscoe does well in the first two stages and a couple other guys don't, and then he also finishes well, maybe it's not necessarily a must win, but 32 below the line, I mean, you're pretty much looking at a win. Again, I don't know the math on everything, but if it's not must win, it's close enough. Same with Cindric being 29 under, Suarez even at 20 under. It's got to be sweating going into this race. So I don't know. Joey's, I mean, even minus 13, like there's no one even like on.
Yeah,
really
I don't feel great about any of them.
Yeah. Especially with Chase being plus 13 and known for historically being pretty good at road courses.
Chase and Tyler Reddick.
All these guys.
Yeah, Reddick also good at road courses.
Daniel Suarez, Cindric, Briscoe.
Yeah.
Briscoe's
I mean, they're good at
course.
They're good at road courses, but the problem is that you're chasing guys who are also good at road courses.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the really tricky part. I mean, if Denny Hamlin was like 8th, then I'd be like, oh, okay, because Denny Hamlin's not great at road courses. He's really bad at Roval. But I don't know, man. I feel like everybody below that cut line is almost Joey's at least in the boat of must do the opposite of Reddick and Chase. So if Reddick and Chase are going for points, Joey has to go for the win because he's never going to catch him on points.
Dude, how about Blaney though? Involved in that accident, and because of the big one, is plus 25. Like he was on the cut line until that big wreck.
Oh yeah, he was
25.
He was jumping around. He's like plus 3, minus 3, plus 10, like all over the place. And then that wreck happened, and he was suddenly
what a
like
savior.
plus 25.
Well, I mean, not just Blaney, Hamlin. I think Hamlin was like half a lap back. And I think he was like below the cut. It was like a 30-some point swing for Hamlin.
Think about it. Those guys are running way in the back. Blaney's out. And then you got Joey, Chastain. These guys are running. They place really well in the race. One of them wins. Like you are below that cut line for sure. But with with them going out, it's like, oh, they were jumping up and down when that wreck happened. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Freaking Reddick was way in the back when this wreck happens and instantly just gets spun out by somebody. Whoever was behind him just turns and like, what the fuck? So frustrating. I really hope he advances.
So do we think we see a shift? I mean, I think your top 3 are definitely locked in. Byron mathematically is. Bell and Larson, they're essentially locked in. They're not losing that.
I don't think it's changing.
No, I really don't see a big change unless one of the bottom 4 wins, which I don't know. Good luck.
I don't see it.
You're going to have to run against SVG and AJ Allmendinger. You have this chaotic new turn 7 or whatever it is that who knows what will happen there. I really don't see a big shift.
You're going to see a lot of guys getting punted is what's going to happen in that new turn.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think any of those drivers that are in the bottom 4 there are historically good at the Roval. They might be good at road courses, but I
don't think Joey's very good at road courses, is he? I mean, he's not terrible, but
he's not great.
Yeah, so I mean, his best hope would be like winning stages. I think he's not going to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, going through it right now, last race, Cindric was the top finisher in 25th. Briscoe was 28th, and Suarez was 33rd. Where is Logano though? 5th.
Oh, okay, better than I thought. Never mind. Joey
so I mean, I could see him running top 10 in all 3 or first 2 stages, and then getting a top 10. So
that's got to be his best route. Try to get stage points in stage 1, 2, and just get whatever finish you can get.
Last year's stage 1 winner, Tyler Reddick.
That's the problem.
Stage 2 winner, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Larson. So, yeah. And then Allmendinger wins. I don't know. It could be interesting. I just hate stages on road courses with the whole pit stop crap. You're going to see those guys that are slow in the playoffs staying out and getting those points, and the guys that have speed getting screwed over, or vice versa. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. Get rid of stages on road courses, please. Hell,
they tried
get
it.
rid of them at
They
super
didn't like
speedways. We just saw like Michael McDowell pit early because you're not going to go a lap down if you come in, get a splash of fuel, and go back out. And he just jumped the field, went to the front. And it's just, I don't know. I hate that. The ability to do that.
Yep.
All right. Well, what do you guys think we see this weekend at the Roval? Anything good?
A race.
Yeah.
A race.
Yeah. We might see one of those.
All right. Another question. Would you guys rather see the Roval in the playoffs or the Charlotte Oval in the
Oval.
I say the Oval? The Roval or the Oval?
Oval.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
I think the Roval was a great band-aid for when the 1.5 package really sucked, the latter portion of the Gen 6. But I mean, I bust in this car, but the one place it does succeed at is the 1.5. So, I'd love to see us go back to there. I still think we should have a road course in the playoffs, but I don't think it should be the Roval.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right there with you. Well, I mean, we already have Watkins Glen, right?
Yeah.
So
Watkins Glen works.
Put the championship race in Charlotte instead of Phoenix. Boom.
I mean, it's not terrible. That's actually a good idea.
I mean, that's where the homes for all the teams are. That's where all like the Hall of Fame's there, all that shit. Like you could make a week of it, but
a little biased, but
it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. It's actually the greatest idea.
I would love it.
It would race better than fucking Phoenix would. I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, anything. Like,
anything except Texas.
Instead, yeah, not Texas, Kansas. Be a little cold, but good racing. That's what we need for the playoffs or the championship race is good racing. Not Phoenix, just because they got the freaking dog leg that you can cut on a restart.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you have this whole playoff buildup, and it's supposed to be like your big Super Bowl. Here you go. And we go to fucking Phoenix.
No, Zach.
Oh, sorry.
They say it 1,000 times. Daytona 500 is a Super Bowl in NASCAR.
Well, then what do you call this? This is the season ender to decide the champion.
All-Star game. And you call the All-Star race we
want to have 2 Super Bowls.
This is the London game.
Yeah.
It's the Panthers versus the Broncos at 8:30
Panthers versus Giants
in
in Germany. That's going to be the lamest game. I feel so sorry for all the Germans. That's what they get for World War II. Is
I don't know, man. Daniel
Jones
Jones throwing to Malik Neighbors. Like Malik Neighbors. Oh my God. Just put him in the Hall of Fame now.
Daniel Jones has to learn how to throw before that.
That's the thing. He doesn't. He just has to chuck it up and look at Malik Neighbors has the ball somehow. Like it's awesome.
Andy Dalton to
he's gonna throw to Malik Neighbors too. It's
Malik Neighbors as well. Yeah.
All right. I got nothing else on the week unless we want to go into
here.
SVG is your favorite.
Shocker.
Yeah. Kyle Larson, William Byron, AJ Allmendinger, and then Reddick. Yeah, no real good head-to-heads. I don't know. We do this too early for betting stuff. But yeah. Final 8. We all said we're going to agree. How about Final 4? Are you guys starting to agree that it's going to be all 400 cars?
Final 4 is going to be Hendrick.
No. There'll be at least 2.
At least 2. It'll be for sure. William and Larson.
I'm going to keep going with the theory that it could be all 4.
It's going to be all 4.
I'm not watching Phoenix.
I'm not watching it. I'll tell you that right the fuck now.
I brought it up 3 weeks ago. It's going to be all 400.
Yeah.
And NASCAR, like the Talladega thing, the rule breakage, like in my mind, it's like, oh, yep, there it is. All 4. It's going to happen. Like Denny, Hamlin, Reddick, Bell, they're going to get some like you're driving a Toyota penalty at like Homestead or something like that. and it'll just be the 400 cars in the playoffs at Phoenix.
I would fucking love a Denny Hamlin championship this year. I want nothing more. Like I'm a Seabell fan, but I want Denny Hamlin to win the championship this year.
Oh, actually, I do have something
that's so bad.
that now that you mentioned that, I'm thinking of. So this antitrust lawsuit, apparently Hamlin and Jordan retained this Jeffrey Kessler, their lawyer, all the way back at the beginning of the season.
Oh,
So
they knew it was
they
coming.
had this. They knew it was coming, and I think when NASCAR came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to talk to all the teams at once. We're going to do it individually," I think they found out, and they're just like, "Oh shit, we're going to do this."
Well, and I think
under the table now.
This is where I think like maybe the teams are being a lot smarter than we're giving them credit for. Like, I mean, they obviously understand their business and the value of their properties and all that stuff. And they can see the way NASCAR is going. Like Denny Hamlin was the only one talking, but they all are aware that these negotiations weren't going well. And we're probably aware that, hey, we could get to a point where, we even heard for a couple weeks before that there is a final offer coming from NASCAR. So I'm sure they had a conversation. Like, what do you want to do? Especially if you retain that lawyer that early, he's giving Denny advice.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, maybe this was a plan. Like if NASCAR puts us in this position where we must sign, this is our play. I don't know.
I think this isn't just any lawyer, though. This is like the lawyer.
Right. Yeah. So you would think he would know how to best set you up.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I think the teams are being really fucking clever. I was roasting them when they sign it, but I think they're being really smart. We'll see. We'll see what happens if they
IQ play.
Join. Yeah, it might be.
Hey, you guys know what my shirt says in Japanese? You know what it says? It says Joe sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it really though?
All right. It does. No, it says Yoshimura. But all right. Next week, Roval cut race. Make sure to catch us next Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 9:30-ish. Make sure to join our Discord. We'll maybe see you this weekend for some watch parties. Is it? No, was it just Xfinity and Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yay. How about Arca? That shit show happening. Okay.
Watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Until next week. See ya.
Bye.
I love you.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.